Hey Bree, are you ready to start our research project?
Yeah, Miss Margaret told me about this super cool museum. She says it has a whole bunch of artifacts from Great Zimbabwe.
Okay, let's go.
Whoa, look at this.
I wonder what happens if we touch that.
Ah! Ouch. Where are we?
Hello.
Who said that?
And you are in Zimbabwe, southern Mozambique, right next to the Zambezi River.
Wow.
Here, let me take you on a tour of our kingdom.
Okay, that sounds great.
We are in the valley part of the kingdom. This is where all our farming is. We farm corn, millet, sorghum, rice, beans, manioc, peanuts, pumpkins, and sweet potatoes. Our fertile soil makes it possible for us to grow all these things. It also makes for very good grazing land and large forests.
Wow, it sounds like people do a lot of farming.
Yes, actually, a big part of our economy depends on agriculture. We also gain profits from selling timber from our large forests.
What's on that huge hill?
That isn't a hill, it's a plateau, and we call it the hill complex.
What's that huge ring around the top?
That is the Great Enclosure. It is in fact the largest single structure in ancient sub-Saharan Africa.
Whoa, that's huge.
Would you like to go see it?
That would be so cool.
Alright, let's go.
These are very odd-looking houses.
Not really. They are actually very clever. As you can tell, they are circular dwellings with a straw thatch roof, and they're made of dhaka, a mix of clay and gravel. They have 12 to 18 inches thick walls. They also have fireplaces made of dhaka that creates a smooth glaze-like effect. Most of the people like to decorate the interior with pictures of birds, animals, and people.
Hey, we're almost at the top of the hill, or plateau.
Wow, your kingdom is so big.
Yes, it is. 18,000 acres.
Wow, and just look at all the buildings.
300 sites. In fact, Zimbabwe means stone building in Bantu, the language we speak. Great Zimbabwe is a great empire. It's special because of the effort we put into our buildings. Zimbabwe means house of stone and stone walls. The people built stone buildings on hills. The stones used to make the walls are cut very precise. The temple and other buildings were built without mortar in between the bricks. The outer wall of the city is made with 100,000 tons of granite bricks.
Ooh. Ah.
You will have to walk behind me for this next part. There is an inner wall running around the outer one.
Why would you need that?
It makes for better defense and protection. It is designed so that you can only go in it single file.
Look, Annie, there isn't anything to hold the stones together.
Very good, Briana. You're absolutely right. We originated our own techniques that didn't require us to use any mortar to hold the stones together. If you look closer, you can see that it's all made up of granite. The abundance of rock we get on this plateau is all granite. Now come on, I want to show you the city. Buildings that were built of granite were polished and straight. Granite walls had very sophisticated art figures on them. People lived in villages in dhaka huts.
I want to live in a mud hut.
Me too.
They also built walls surrounding a cone-shaped tower.
Speaking of cones, I want an ice cream cone.
Yeah, an ice cream cone sounds really good right now.
You're not going to find any ice cream here. In the war, our army will surround our enemies so that there are no way of escape. Our shields are made from cowhide and are 5 feet high and 3 feet wide. The army uses spears as weapons. They use beasts' horns while they're fighting.
Violent?
Most of our people live to be 20 to 25 years old. Most people's lifestyle depends on their work. There are no schools or books. Most of the parents teach their children what they need to know. The mothers usually teach their daughters what they need to know.
I hope they can cook better than I can.
Food, water, and grain were stored in pots. Lamps and pots were made of clay. Dishes were made out of wood or clay. Carved wooden headrests were given out before marriage.
Well, what about music?
We play a lot of traditional African music on instruments made of growls and gourd plants.
What about jobs? What did people work as?
Men and boys work in fields. Men can make sculptures, look after cattle, and work in the army. Most of us are farmers and live in or close to a village. Most women and girls weed or take care of vegetables. Some women even make pottery. Some women and children also work in the gold mines.
Is Great Zimbabwe one of those third world or poor nations?
Actually, Zimbabwe is pretty rich. We have 8,000 gold mines.
Whoa, that's crazy!
That's so cool.
In order to gain wealth, we trade our gold, ivory, and beads with other parts of Africa, Arabia, India, and China. In turn, we receive glazed dishes from China, painted bowls from Persia, and colored glass from the Near East. We import cloths, beads, iron, and salt.
I wish I were rich and had all that stuff.
The Great Wall is a guardhouse that troops live in and control the main entrance. The Great Wall holds parades and war dances. The Great Wall would have been built in a year if there were 150 men to help build it. There is a cave that projects a person's voice all through the valley. You want to try it?
Sure. Hello down there.
Down there, So cool! We worship our ancestors. We believe that only good people will become ancestor spirits. Ancestor spirits live in the spirit world and look over the living. They can communicate with regular people. The king spirit is the most important spirit and is responsible for keeping the land fertile. Mediums are people who can talk to spirits. They do it through birds. There are stone figures of the bird Shiriyamori. We worship the ancestors every day. Speaking of our religion, did I tell you that we consider our king to be godly?
Is that so?
That's so interesting.
Yes, our society is also parochial.
Parochial?
What does that mean?
It means our society is ruled by only men. In fact, it is usually the eldest man in the family who makes all the decisions.
That's cool. But what do the women do then?
I don't see any of them over with the other men herding the cattle.
You didn't see any of the women herding the cattle because it's considered taboo for women to touch them. The women stay home and take care of the house, children, and prepare meals for the family. They also participate in harvesting. My friend over there is making brass jewelry for the royals. Who is your president? President? You mean king?
Yes.
You see, our land is broken into political states ruled by chiefs, and all the chiefs are ruled by the king. If you look, you can see his palace is right up there, up at the very top.
Wow, he must be very powerful.
He is. If you remember from before, the king is said to have godly powers. That's why we have such a great civilization.
Wow.
Why is there only one building?
Doesn't your king have any advisors?
Of course he does. They live in his palace with him. That's awesome! The military troops also live with the king. We are in war with the Mutapa king at the moment, and we just got over attacks from the Portuguese who wanted our gold, fertile land, and other resources.
Excuse me, young ladies.
Huh?
What?
Wait, how did we get back here?
What are you girls talking about? You both hit the railing and fainted. Hey, Annie, look at this.
What?
They existed between 11,000 and 1450.
They lost power because it was no longer able to support its population?
Ran out of grazing land and wood for cooking.
Hey, look at our notes.
They're all full.
Well, at least we'll be able to do our project now.
Yeah, come on, let's go home.